Hey guys, Jax here, Free Auto Mechanic. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. If you got suggestions, by all means put something down in the comments below. I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. But for today, what I'm talking about is having difficulties putting gas into your gas tank. You open up your gas tank door, take off your cap, you go to the pump, you put it in there and it clicks off. Every time you pull on it, it clicks off. You try and move it around, it clicks off. You try and pull it out a little bit. It seems like it works a little bit if you go slow, but then it clicks off. You can turn it around upside down. It's a little bit easier, but it still clicks off. It doesn't function the way it used to. And so I'm going to tell you how to bypass that just so that you can fill up your gas tank. And I'm also going to show you how to go ahead and repair it. So the actual cause of it is your EVAP. You try and fill it up, and then you click it again and click it again to top it off. I'm guilty of that. That's what happened to mine. And what ends up happening is your charcoal canister ends up getting overfilled, clogs up, and no longer functions properly. So a bypass is to disconnect one of the hoses that goes to the charcoal canister. Now, that's for temporary purposes, and by all means, order the part, get it replaced, take care of it, because as soon as you disconnect that hose, your check engine light's going to come on. Let me show you what comes up. So I went ahead and hooked my scan tool up, and this is the code that comes up. It's P0455, evaporative emissions, and make sure the little check engine light come on. Now, that happens because I disconnected the hose on the EVAP canister. Now, let me show you what I disconnected so that it'll allow you to put fuel in your tank. So you can jack up your vehicle, get up under there however you need to. And all I did was stick a screwdriver in there and pop the tabs off. It slides on, and that little tab right there and that tab, they go over top of this. And all you do is just wiggle a screwdriver in there and it'll pop it loose and come off. You do that and it'll allow it to vent and it'll allow you to put gas into it. So that'll get you by temporarily. And to actually fix it, we need to replace the actual EVAP canister itself. So we need to take the lines loose. And we can leave this one on, and we can disconnect it back here or at the EVAP canister itself. And then there's a hold down strap right here. So we'll need to take this loose. Now, you might find it easier to remove the drive shaft out of the way. Not sure if you can see too well. There's 4 bolts. I think these are 10 millimeter. And that just drops down. It gives you a little bit more room. I believe this is a 13 millimeter. And it's just got a strap in there. So we'll do that next. But you want to make sure you got your new one ready. So here's my new one. It's not really anything fancy, but I'll put a link to it down below in the description. It's just a plastic box, and I believe there's a charcoal block inside there. It's called like a charcoal canister. It just evaporates the gas fumes. And it's pretty much all there is to it. You just got this 3 hoses, and you've got this part right here where that one 13 millimeter bolt goes on and straps that in there, holds it in place. So it shouldn't be too difficult other than just getting to it. because it's not in the easiest place, and there's plenty of rust around there if yours has got any miles on it like mine does. So let's get after it. So I'm going to go ahead and try and take the drive shaft out of the way just to give us a little extra room, if for nothing else, just so you can see up in there a little better while I'm filming. I was wrong. This is a 11 millimeter instead of a 10. So you want to take care of that. You can see I've got it up on jack stands. 2 reasons. One, give us a little extra room. And 2, once I get these loose, I can put the vehicle in neutral, rotate the drive shaft, and then we can take the other 2 bolts off on the other side. Put her in neutral. And that'll allow us to spin the drive shaft. Give us access to the other 2 bolts. Go ahead and put it back in park. And once you get them out of the way, I'm going to take the pry bar, just put it underneath of it, just give it a little pry. Sometimes they'll pop loose, sometimes you got to work at it. And once you get it worked loose, shove it forward as much as you can. And set it off to the side or out of the way for you. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to try and take loose this 13 millimeter bolt. See if we can get that out of our way. Alright. Some people recommend that you spray WD-40 on it. Let it soak for a while. It may be easier. I recommend wearing some safety glasses. That way you don't get all this rust in your eyes. And try and stay underneath of the fuel tank. That way you're not directly below it. I didn't put any penetrating oil on this, and it's coming loose pretty easy for me. Not to say that it wouldn't have been easier if I'd have sprayed something on it. You can see some of this metal is just falling apart. I guess that's what happens when you're in what they call the rust belt. It looks like this whole thing slides, so part of this metal bracket is attached. I don't know if you can see that too well. So I'm just kind of working it around, trying to get some of the rust loose. So I was hoping I might be able to work this out and get it down here where it's easier to get to these lines. I don't know that I can leave this one attached and maybe disconnect this line up here. I think you can see that, because it attaches to the canister, but there's no reason we can't just disconnect it here. And you can see it's just got a couple little tabs, so I should be able to squeeze those two tabs and potentially get that off of there. The trick is doing it without getting rust in your eyes. I was able to pop that one loose. And if I can get the other one to pop loose. So rather than continuing to fight that, I'm going to see if I can get this one to pop loose. So you can see it will come loose. It's not as easy as it looks, I suppose, but it does come loose. These are the tabs that I'm pushing in. I'm just putting the screwdriver in there and putting a little pressure just to unclip them from that plastic edge. Alright, so just a little persistence, and then we should be able to slide this out the way. So now we managed to get it out. So this is our bracket. We'll want to try and move this bracket to the new one. Almost looks like we might have needed to buy a new one, but We'll see if we can't make it work. But we'll go ahead and remove these two lines. Before I do, I like to set the new part next to the old part. And they do indeed look like exactly what we need. So that's good. Might be a little easier for you to see what I'm doing with these clips. I'm just prying that up out the way. Once you get those loose, you can just wiggle it right off of there. And then we'll just take it and move it right to our new one. And we clipped. We got a nice tight fit on there. We'll do the same thing with our other one. Now you can see that part of the clip stayed on there, came off the hose. So we'll want to take that off of there. And move it on to the new one so that we can snap that on. You want to make sure that it snaps in place on both sides. That way to keep it from coming off, and it gives it a nice tight fit. So we've got those two lines moved over. Now we got to try and figure out how to get this bracket off. What it looks like is this is kind of pinched in on the plastic. See if we can work some of this rust loose. So all I'm doing is putting the screwdriver in there, prying a little bit to bend the tabs up. It looks like it's going to come right up out of there. And looks like we've got another hook back here. I'll pry that up. And she's off. Not in the best shape, but at least it slides up into a larger, thicker, heavier bracket. So I'm going to try and use it. Nice snug fit. I'm going to see if I can. It doesn't really want to pry. Like to have it clamped on there a little better. And I think that's good enough. So now we got to slide it back up underneath and put it back. Before I crawl back up under there and lay in all the rust, I just happen to have this leaf blower. Might not get rid of all of it, but it get rid of some of it. We're going to put it back in the same way we took it out. Try to. Slide it up over the muffler. Let's see. Get our hose in the right direction. Still plenty of rust. And it appears something's hanging it up. Alright. So we still got to get our holes lined up. We went ahead and hooked our hoses up. Got those snapped in. Got these tight. Might have been a little easier if I would have snapped this hose on before I put the bolt in. You can try it your way, see what you think. EVAP canister replaced, taken care of. Only thing we need to do is go back to our scan tool, go to our trouble codes, and clear the codes. And now we're all set. No more check engine light. We'll be able to put gas inside of our vehicle. So if you run into the situation yourself where you're having difficulties being able to put fuel into your gas tank, you know the workaround and you know how to repair it once you get the time and the part to do so. Thanks for watching.